Good morning, welcome to the Daily News Podcast. Today is May 14th, 2026.
President Trump is in Beijing for a high-stakes summit with Xi Jinping, and this is one of those meetings where even without a big deal, the consequences are huge. Trade, advanced tech, Iran, and Taiwan are all on the table. China has rolled out the full ceremony and state messaging to frame the visit as historic, but expectations for a breakthrough are still pretty low because the hardest disputes between Washington and Beijing have not gone away. Markets are watching for any hint of de-escalation, especially with supply chains already under pressure and the Iran conflict adding another layer of global risk.
Yeah, this is one of those summits where tone matters almost as much as substance. If the two sides even lower the temperature a little, markets will take that as a win. Meanwhile in Ukraine, deadly Russian drone attacks have resumed after a ceasefire expired, and Kyiv is once again taking heavy pressure. Ukrainian officials say a strike caused a building collapse in the capital and may have trapped residents, underscoring just how exposed civilians remain when these attack waves restart. President Zelensky is warning that more strikes could follow. The bigger picture here is grimly familiar. Europe is back to confronting the reality that any pause in fighting can vanish fast, while Ukraine's air defenses and infrastructure remain under constant strain.
And every time that cycle restarts, it becomes harder to talk about stability in Europe with a straight face. The military story is also a civilian story, and that's the part that keeps getting worse. Right, moving to markets. Nvidia has now pushed past a $5.5 trillion market value, making it the world's second-largest asset and another giant marker of just how intense the AI trade has become. Investors are still piling into the companies building the infrastructure behind AI, and Nvidia remains the clearest symbol of that. At the same time, broader markets were up with Cisco getting a lift from AI-driven demand, so the theme is consistent. Money is still chasing chips, networking, and data center capacity. The big question now is whether earnings can keep justifying these valuations, because expectations are getting enormous.
It's kind of stunning that AI optimism is now moving entire indexes almost by itself. And if Nvidia sneezes at this point, half the market probably reaches for tissues. On the tech side, Microsoft is cutting jobs at LinkedIn while shifting more resources toward AI infrastructure and reworking parts of its OpenAI commercial relationship. That tells you two things. First, even the biggest tech companies are trimming in mature areas to fund the AI race. Second, the partnerships that defined the first wave of generative AI are now entering a more complicated phase, where control, cost, and long-term strategy matter just as much as hype. It's less about splashy launches now and more about who owns the economics of AI at scale.
That feels like the industry maturing in real time. The easy story was everyone teams up for AI. The harder story is who pays, who profits, and who gets boxed out. In defense tech, Anduril has raised another $5 billion, doubling its valuation to $61 billion. That is a massive vote of confidence in companies building military and national security hardware around autonomy, sensors, and software. Investors are clearly treating defense tech less like a niche and more like a strategic growth sector. In a world shaped by war in Ukraine, tension in Asia, and rising concern over industrial resilience, this kind of funding says a lot about where capital thinks the next generation of critical technology is going.
And it also shows that tech is no longer just consumer apps and cloud software. A lot of the biggest bets now are tied directly to geopolitics. In entertainment, Netflix says its ad-supported tier has reached 250 million monthly users, which is a huge milestone and a reminder that streaming is increasingly looking like a hybrid of old TV and subscription platforms. Ads are no longer the backup plan, they're central to the business model. That matters not just for Netflix, but for the entire industry as platforms try to balance subscriber growth, pricing pressure, and ad revenue without pushing viewers away.
And to wrap up, a quick one from internet culture. Figure AI is trending after a live stream showing humanoid robots reportedly working a full 8-hour shift autonomously. Whether the demo fully proves that claim or not, it's the kind of story that hits a nerve because it turns the automation debate into something people can actually picture.
That's it for today.
Thanks for listening.
We'll be back tomorrow with another Daily News podcast.